Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex. Presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. With complete coverage of the Utah Hockey Club, this is Cole Bagley of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen, JJ, and Alex right here with you. The team back together again. We haven't done a show together at the same time since BYU got eliminated from the Sweet 16. And, and we were trying to figure out what we even talked about last week. We were like, hey, what did we even talk about last week? It's a blur, man. Yeah, it happens. It's that time of year. You've got baseball starting up. You've got hockey that's winding down. You've got the Utah Jazz that are winding way down. Way down.
To the bottom.
I mean, yesterday, I don't want to get too weird about it, but when I was watching that game and they had 81 points at the half, I went, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is going on right now? But we knew what we signed up for, so we can't complain about it. We knew exactly what was going to happen this year. I just don't think that we really told ourselves the full truth as to what it would feel like. So there you go. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Let's jump into the cut right here. Yes, he is our Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. And I will tell you, that's where we start things off every time we have a new hour. Let's get to the cut right here.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And, of course, the cut brought to you this hour by the good folks at the Doug Smith family of dealerships. Dodge, Ram, Chevy, Subaru, Kia, and now Mitsubishi down in American Fork. We'll be there on Friday again to hang out with Chris Smith and the good folks at the Doug Smith Mitsubishi. Joining us right now, he is Cole Bagley, Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. Cole, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you guys?
Oh, we're good. We're just celebrating the idea that hockey is – despite the fact that I think that we all kind of recognize the difficulties of being able to make the playoffs at this point, it just feels so freaking good right now because you feel like this team is in a really good spot going forward after this year.
Yeah, they are. Right now the magic number for the Utah Hockey Club is a single point. If they experience a loss or an overtime loss, or if the Minnesota Wild are able to pick up a point over the next 5 games, then Utah is officially out of the race. Playoffs are incredibly unlikely at this point. But I think when you look back at what the Utah Hockey Club has been able to accomplish, both on and off the ice over the last year, bringing in the team, fixing up the Oval to be up to the standard of the NHL, building a new practice facility that'll be completed for the team on September 1st of 2025. And then, of course, playing meaningful hockey with just 5 games to go. Playoffs would have been fun. But I think this season, really went about as well as it could have, just given all the factors. And it's been a lot of fun.
It has been a blast. In fact, I went to the supermarket today. I bought a bunch of broccoli. I'm bringing it to the game on Tuesday night. I'm going to throw it on the ice.
Tape it to yourself, dude.
Is this going to become a thing, Cole? Is broccoli going to be our rat or our octopus? What's going on?
Yeah, as long as Vemelka's here, that might be our calling card, is throwing vegetables onto the ice. There's been some hardcore fans that are wearing broccoli heads to Delta Center. It's starting to spread throughout the arena. And, there was some broccoli thrown on the ice the other night after Vemelka's incredible performance. So we had to find something. And, as long as it's relatable, I think it's all right. So for now,
look, it's not messy either.
It's cheap and it's easy to clean up.
Yeah, you know what? I think they could have done a lot worse, the hockey club, having stuff thrown on the ice. Like, yeah, we'll take some greens. That's fine.
There's no dead animals on the ice, Cole. Isn't that a plus?
I'm just saying, don't throw any eggs on the ice because of Mikhail Sergachev. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's too much to clean
I was worried that was going to become a thing. Glad it didn't.
For now. We're egging somebody on out there.
Look,
that's true.
Some weirdos taping eggs to their body to go into the Delta Center at some point. Well, let's talk a little bit about just the most recent win, obviously, beating the Winnipeg Jets. And, I mean, that team's not just a good team. They are currently the best team in the entire NHL. In that third period was a flurry of shots that Veggie had to deal with. And just you could tell, like, when the other team has got this insane energy and they are turning it up, and there was that part of me that goes, okay, Utah Hockey Club, don't play not to lose. You got to stay on the attack here. And they just did such a phenomenal job. What is it about this team that's gotten so much better just in the last couple of months, even? Because, Bear even made mention, like, we're a different team. We're a better team than we were a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I think, that was arguably one of their most complete performances of the season. As you mentioned, being the best team in hockey, and not just the best team in hockey, but the best goaltender in the world, 3 times, and then, getting the open netter to seal the deal. They showed just the complete process of progression, I think, is what we're seeing. Everybody was contributing. You had your star players scoring big goals. The power play, was revived in that game. They were able to score twice on the man advantage. Vamelka was unreal, and I genuinely do not understand how he keeps doing it. His 20th start in a row, and he looks as fresh as if he had been resting for a week. I just think, from becoming more healthy, getting their blue line, fully, back on the ice, to the development of Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, and as well, kind of how the lines have really finally reached a good point. The third line has really become Utah's checking line. Lawson Krause is playing his best hockey of the season. Josh Doan, Jack McBain are playing incredibly well too. And, they've really been able, I think, to bring a lot of energy and to assert themselves physically. Earlier in the season, a big issue for the Utah Hockey Club was just being outmanned and outchecked every single night. And yet that line has brought the team even most nights, and even some nights they're leading. So there's just been a lot of progression from top to bottom. Every position, every player has really started to figure it out. And, I think what helps too is this is the playoffs for them, right? They're playing essentially elimination hockey at this point, and that's helped them get, dig down deep and experience a new gear. And there's a lot of progression, a lot to be excited for the future.
You had a chance to go see where the construction is at this point now with the new practice facility in Sandy. It's such a big deal and an important thing to have, and for it to be developing this quickly and early in the process is pretty amazing. But what are some of the reasons why this is important? Why is it important that Utah Hockey Club has this kind of state-of-the-art practice facility? I mean, does this help free agency? How does it impact their place in the league? What can it do for the community?
Yeah, first of all, number one, taking care of your players. The Oval's been great. It definitely has served its purpose. It was a nice temporary home, but when we were able to see the layout of what this facility is going to include, it's night and day difference. From a massive gym space to a player lounge, and then recovery pools, a sauna, all these things that are going to help these players perform at their very best. That's a big deal. And, talking to some of the players, talking to some of the front office, as much as the Delta Center is the home of the Utah Hockey Club, this facility is going to be more a home. These guys are going to spend countless hours, much more time at this facility practicing, watching film, lifting weights, recovering, all those things. They're going to spend a lot more time at this facility. And, Clayton Keller said that, once the thing is completed, he thinks it's going to be top 5, top 3 in the entire league. And so, yeah, this definitely can have an impact on free agency. Offering a world-class facility, a top facility in the league where players spend most of their time. So that's certainly going to help, and it's going to help these players perform to their very best. In terms of the community, this becomes a focal point for hockey in the state of Utah, as, the accessibility to not only the team, but to more ice sheets, to be able, as Ryan Smith put it today, when the boys step off the ice, the youth hockey and the community steps on. which is phenomenal. And, fans will be able to come and experience and watch these practices when they haven't. So, it's the beginning of a bright future for so many reasons. It helps the team. It helps the community. It helps grow the game. There's going to be so much more exposure to the game of hockey because of this incredible facility right in the center, right in the heart of the Salt Lake Valley.
I was reading one of your bylines the other day, Cole, and one of the things that you brought up was that, among all the things that are going well for this team in terms of the young talent, but they also there's a strong pipeline of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, because it's what we're used to kind of understanding a little bit, is that farm system, right? The minor leagues and how these guys develop and what it takes to be able to, as an organization, get yourselves to the spot that you have a lot going for you in your developmental programs. Where is Utah with that, and why is it that they've done such a good job with being able to have that pipeline be as strong as it is?
Yeah, it's a good question. And, I'm actually planning on sitting down with Bill Armstrong later this week and kind of doing a deep dive on a lot of these prospects. So, keep your eyes peeled for that as we learn more about, what makes these players special, especially in the eyes of the guy constructing the team. But, again, credit to Bill Armstrong for the way that he's handled this process. I've shared this many, many times, but it's very true. Bill has said a lot of teams begin rebuilds, but not enough teams finish them. And, he's stayed true to the process. He hasn't gotten greedy. He hasn't jumped the gun. He hasn't, tried to do anything aside from, trusting that process. And that's hard because it can take a long time. There's been teams, such as the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Chicago Blackhawks, whose rebuilds were like 4 years. But then you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, it took them about 12. And that's hard to have patience for, especially, in markets like New York or Boston or Philly or wherever, where there's a lot of pressure to be competitive every year. But for Bill, he stayed true. He did an incredible job acquiring, draft picks and assets. And, obviously some of those have already hit, Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther. Those were guys drafted by this organization. And those have been stellar selections who have, the potential to be superstars. And then you continue. You look at guys like TJ Ginla, Cole Baudouin, Daniil Boat, Dmitry Simashev, who are currently playing in the KHL, and there's a very good chance that those two are going to be headed to North America, this upcoming year. And I don't know the details on what that's going to look like because with the KHL, it's a little bit different. KHL agents are not as quick to bring players over here unless there's some promised minutes in the NHL. They don't want them to go spend a bunch of time in lower leagues or anything like that. So like I said, we'll hopefully figure out the details on what that's going to look like, but keep those two names in mind. Daniil Boat and Dmitry Simashev, two big players. One's a forward, one's a defenseman. Very exciting. The front office is very excited about those two. And then a guy playing college hockey for UMass, Michael Rabel, who was one of the stars of the junior international tournament at the beginning of the year, and has been stellar for his college. He's potentially the goalie of the future for the Utah Hockey Club. So, like I said, all credit to Bill Armstrong, his patience, and his team, making the right picks.
5 games left in the regular season. I mean, we've gotten to the point where we understand that the playoffs aren't going to happen. But this team has 5 games left, 2 home games left to see this team. It's crazy how fast the season has gone. But what should we be looking for? What does this team want to accomplish in these last 5 games, assuming they fall short of that playoff spot? What do they want to accomplish as they head into this offseason?
Yeah, I think to just keep playing competitive hockey. Even if tomorrow night they end up losing and are officially out with 4 games to go, this is a team that wants to carry momentum into the next year. They want to keep playing well. They want to, be firing on all cylinders, have chemistry, and so that when the fall comes back around and the second season of the Utah Hockey Club is here, that they're able to perform at a high level. So, regardless if they fall out here, if and when most likely they fall out here over the next 5 games, I think you're just going to continue to see a team that, is pushing and trying to play their best. And it's a different situation, right? I mean, the last 4 years, they've been out of it well before the final 5 games. That's such a big accomplishment to be playing meaningful hockey nearly to the end. So I think it'll be different. I don't anticipate, as many guys potentially getting, called up for opportunities, especially if they keep pushing. As long as they're in it, they're going to keep fighting and acting like they have a legitimate shot. So, it definitely depends on how these next 2 or 3 games go, but I expect, just hard-fought hockey to the end.
He's Cole Bagley. He's our Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. You just heard him, too, talking about how he's going to have a conversation with Bill Armstrong. You can get that download on what this farm system, so to speak, looks like, the pipeline of prospects that are coming to the Utah Hockey Club over the next few years and who's in the system already and what that looks like, because obviously over the next few years. Next year, we're not going to be so excited about man, they were getting to that point. They were getting pretty darn good. I think a lot of people are going to go, hey, this is it. You got to start making the playoffs now. So looking forward to what that conversation looks like. And Cole Bagley, our Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. Go check it out and go just see for yourself the phenomenal job that Cole's been doing in his first year, all of our first year covering this Utah Hockey Club. So it's all brought to you by Hercules First Credit Union, growing stronger together. Cole, thanks for hanging out, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Not too many more of these before the season's over. So.
We'll savor every moment.
Getting sentimental here.
Oh, we're going to freaking call you, though. Like, I'm just going to be like, I'm still calling you, be like, hey, what's going on in hockey, man? I'm going to still do it. We
need our fix, Cole.
Absolutely. Come on. All right. We'll chat with you next week, Cole. Good to chat with you, man. There you go. Yeah. No, we're going to still call you. Come on.
Yeah, we're not going to. Cole, we're not going to stop bugging you.
You're on the payroll, right?
Yeah, you're going to be on the show.
Let's go.
There's no off season in hockey.
There is, but you know what? Not for us. Come on. And by the way, when was the draft? Remember when we did the draft coverage? We did all.
I still have PTSD from that draft.
We did a 7-hour broadcast.
What were we doing?
Preparing ourselves for this year and doing the same thing.
We were breaking down 7th round draft picks. Is there even a 7th round? I can't even remember. It's all a blur. That night never ended.
Well, what happened was we were going to go the first hour and a half, or we were going to go the first 2 rounds, right? And then the hockey club starts trading up. We start seeing some movement, and then we start going, I think we're going to be in for the night. And we were. We were out there.
All 7 rounds.
Some guy walking by, sweeping up stuff. He's like, what are you guys still doing here? Just hanging out downtown, man. Just hanging out downtown.
We were waiting for the free J-Dogs.
No, the tracks driver guy goes by. He's like, you guys got to get out of here, man. You're going to start turning into pumpkins.
We found out the dogs were gone.
Yeah, come on.
That was a sad moment.
The dogs, dude. That was so funny. Remember the people were walking out with tins of them? You remember that?
There was almost a riot over there. People almost died
hilarious.
That night.
It was wild.
People almost died.
We didn't know what to expect with this hockey club team, so we're getting better as fans, too.
It's been a fun ride.
All right. We'll come back. We've got more to go. Stay here. On the way back, we're going to be chatting a little bit about what the NCAA is still trying to mull over. Right now, things are on pause a little bit because the House versus the NCAA and how they're going to figure out this whole money situation is just it's fascinating for us who are following it to see how this thing is going to get treated in the future. I think we're also looking forward to a time when it's not the Wild West anymore when it comes to the money. So stay here. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The biggest name. You're locked into JJ and Alex with the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I want to go full PK here. I want to go full Michael McDonald. Okay.
Mondays aren't fun, but you know what? We can make it a little bit better with a little bit of Michael McDonald for you.
Now, is this just him on his own or is this Doobie Brothers? Doobie Brothers, yes? Yeah. I love producer Alex just goes, Doobie.
Nice find there.
You can't just yell Doobie into the microphone.
Your next challenge, Alex, is to find some Yamo Be there.
No, it's not a challenge. It's not a challenge.
That's what we need.
It's out there.
We need some Yamo Be there.
Yamo. That was his friends?
Somebody needs to explain the lyrics of the song to me, but man, it's a jam.
We've all said that to somebody. Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Yamo Be there.
Yamo. Oh, my goodness. Hey, welcome back to the program. Happy Monday to you. Tomorrow we're going to be out at the Bees brand new facility out in Daybreak. Is this like a hop, skip, and a jump for you? Then commute-wise tomorrow?
It's South Jordan, Daybreak. I live out in Bluffdale, so it's not terribly long.
I just assume.
Have you been on Bangor Highway lately?
I just assume all of you.
Have you traveled on Bangor lately?
All of you people out there.
I fear for my life every time I get on Bangor Highway. What is going on?
No, but that's why you got to go because I think that West Corridor.
Yeah, Mountain View Corridor.
The Mountain View Corridor just dumps you right off onto the stadium.
But to get there, I got to go through Bangor. It's
oh, elitist over
once
here.
it's all done,
hey,
it's going to be amazing.
Got an elitist over here. I'm not an
elitist. I'm like all of you listening. I don't love traffic. I don't love cones.
Norm Bangerter wasn't my favorite governor. I don't really like to drive through his road.
That's quite a political poll from the past there. Well done, Alex. You're not even from Utah.
No.
You know who Norm Bangerter is.
Norm Bangerter. Listen.
We should have a greatest governors of Utah debate.
No, we will not. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Governor Cox, I got you. You're my guy.
When it's that slow part of the year, like May 30th or something.
I think April 8th is the date this year.
You want to have it?
The Jazz aren't making the playoffs. Neither is the Utah Hockey Club.
We're going to be out at the warehouse debating who the best governor in Utah State history was. Nope. No thanks. Hey,
I'm a Levitt guy.
Let me see here. So the House versus NCAA settlement approval hearing got pushed back, right? Wasn't that the whole deal? They kind of sat on it, and then they said, well, we'll talk about this again.
The judge just said she wasn't going to make a decision.
The settlement is unworkable, said the players' rights activist Ramogi Huma, telling CBS Sports. The schools are beginning to find that out. They are going to have to start paying these players. I don't think that's the debate. It's not about that. It's whether or not it's going to be something that you can govern. That's the whole point, right? Like, are you going to have these regulations? Are you going to be able to actually make these rules stick? Are these rules going to be fair to the players, to the athletes, to the schools? No one really cares if it's like that fair to the school, because you feel like that the school got all this stuff for free for so long, right? That the conferences got all this for free for so long. That's not what the debate is. It's whether or not the players are going to be able to be receiving that $20.5 million, I think, right? Mm-hmm. The $20.5 million that's going to be likely shared per school's roster. Is that just for football, though? What are we talking about here? It's just for football, right?
Right.
So, look, in an era where we're extending Deion Sanders to 5 years and $54 million extra dollars on his current contract, are the players going to be able to also participate to the level of making it feel like it's something that we are okay with? And it's not just about whether or not if we're okay with it. It's about whether or not we are feeling like the players are getting the fair shake here. Because you got to understand, they've been ripped off for a long time. I mean, I'm not going full like players union on you.
You're
here.
saying ripped off. I would take it a step further. They've been exploited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you had kids getting suspended for eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich while these coaches are making multi-million-dollar contracts, not honoring those contracts.
I've told you so many times.
Going to get more money somewhere else.
Think about how...
And the athletic directors and all these other in the NCAA, and how much money does the head of the NCAA make? Why are these people making all this money? They're not the product.
What's hard is that the guys who make all that money going, I want some of these kids to have some loyalty. It's hard. It's so hard to listen to him say that.
So the coach will be out the door the next day if somebody offers him $100,000 more.
No, we were talking about this because we played that clip from the Grambling coach where he's like, and it's like almost like everybody has this line that they have to deliver now, JJ, where it's like this. Well, we have the same option as coaches. We can pick up and leave wherever we want. And you're like, now they're saying that. Before it was, I get no loyalty out of these kids, right? We're now in an era where a player can leave Kyle Whittingham's program, go somewhere else, it's not working out, and he comes back again, and he's welcomed with open arms. That is a wild time. Yes.
Isn't that great?
Is, because
how cool is the Nate Johnson story?
You've had to adjust. You've had to adjust if you're Kyle Whittingham. And Kyle Whittingham, Utah program, and if you're any of these other programs around the country and you're not adjusting, if you're going full Deebo Samuel, no, absolutely not. I want to get the best high school kids in the country. It's like you're not going to add anybody.
You mean
be it the
Dabo
transfer-
Swinney?
Well, who did I say?
Deebo Samuel?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Dabo Swinney.
Better make that one clear.
Yeah, that one's got to be, that one's changed up. So, Dabo Swinney, who's like, I'm only getting high school kids in here. I'm not getting anybody out of the transfer portal. But wait, what about when all the kids leave your school to go to the transfer portal? Don't pretend like you're the thing that makes these kids good. They're the guys who make you look good.
Well, for the longest time, the faces of college football were coaches.
Oh, yeah.
Which is messed up, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're
Absolutely.
obviously stars, but who were the high pay? Who were the stars of the show? College basketball was worse.
Yeah, and it's still a little bit
Coach
that way.
K, John
No, for
Calipari,
sure.
Bobby
No.
Knight.
Rick Pitino is like, I'm still in the era of being, I'm more important than anybody
Because
out there.
those guys were there all the time, year in and year out.
Uh-huh.
The players came and went, and they went to the NBA or whatever. I don't watch a sport because of the coaches. I don't care about the coaches.
Yeah, but he's got that nice suit.
I want to be entertained by the players. That's what really matters, but that's what was happening in college sports for a long time is those players were being exploited. They were the ones that were the product. They were the reason we were watching. They were the ones creating those memories. They didn't get anything from it. They didn't have a chance to take advantage of that opportunity in their lifetime.
Cooper Flagg is the most recognizable college basketball face. Because you think about, I say college basketball because generational player-wise, we haven't seen wild energy around a singular name than we saw with Victor Wembanyama. But Victor Wembanyama didn't play a year at Duke or a year at North Carolina or, and so we don't know what that money would have looked like for that 1 year, right?
Yeah.
But Cooper Flagg, in this era that we're in right now, is the most recognized generational talent name that's been out there, and he was about a $5 million check.
And he deserved it.
And A.J. DeBonsa is on the list, and it's weird to see that BYU set of letters next to his name because he's the sixth highest, not basketball, collegiate NIL deal ever. The sixth highest ever in any sport.
He'll never catch Livy Dunn.
Nobody will. Have you seen those interviews with Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn? And he didn't know jack squat about her sport. Oh my hell! That guy needs to figure it out. If you're going to marry this woman who, by the way, is probably going to pay
famous than you,
right? And she was going to pay the bills for a while before you showed up. And she, by the way, might have to support you if this baseball thing doesn't work out. She could definitely carry the torch for a while. But man, the amount of money that goes to these collegiate athletes, they deserve it.
It's been a positive change. And it should continue.
Yeah. The big argument's going to be market value. When they bring it up and they go, "Oh, the market value of these players, it's got to be market value." What the heck is market value right now? It's whatever a client is willing to pay for the name, image, and likeness of
That's what market value means. You let the market decide what the value is.
So you can't just go, "Well, let me roll in here and tell you what they are actually worth." It's like, no, they're worth whatever a company is going to pay for their name to be attached to that company.
That's what this court case is about. It's trying to determine how to handle this moving forward. And it's complicated. And I'm sitting here, Ross Dellinger, who covers it better than anybody else, is for Yahoo Sports, has been on top of a lot of this stuff, is just tweeting about this court case thing going on today. And it's confusing. There's a lot of issues here. This is not simple stuff. This is really interesting, deep stuff, and there's layers to this that are going to have to be set up and figured out. I don't think anybody is arguing against there being guardrails of some kind. I mean, you don't want these guys exploited the other way, too. You don't want dirty agents exploiting these young people. Like, there needs to be some guardrails. There needs to be a common ground or some rules set in place about how this is governed. But to do that, you've got to treat this like it's any other employment, like it's any other professional league. Because if there's money involved, that's how it's going to be. There needs to be collective bargaining. There needs to be salary caps. There needs to be different stuff like that, roster limits, all that, and that's what's being discussed here and figured out. I just would hate to be the person, Alex, that has to decide what that is and what that looks like. That's going to be very, very difficult.
Who was on that Florida national championship team? Joakim Noah,
Al Horford, and a couple other guys that played in the league for a bit.
Billy Donovan, like the video footage of Billy Donovan in 2007, it looks like it may as well have been from 1988. Like, that's how old we've gotten, right?
He hasn't aged much.
No. He was
in Florida for 20 years.
He's younger than the lead singer of Counting Crows.
Has he washed his hair since the 90s?
Probably.
I think so.
All right. By the way, you can nominate the Youth Sports Volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week award. What do? We take those nominations, we pick one, and they're the big winner, and they'll get a prize courtesy of the folks at Hercules Credit Union and also Beehive Meals. So go nominate somebody who does an awesome job in your neighborhood as a youth sports volunteer or somebody who just really props up the youth sports in your area. Just go to kslsports.com/contest. That's kslsports.com/contest. And nominate that Hercules Hero of the Week award in your neighborhood.
Real quick before we go to break, I just looked up that Florida team. There were 6 players on that roster that played in the NBA. Al Horford, Corey Brewer, Joakim Noah.
Corey Brewer, that was it.
Torian Green, Chris Richard, and Maurice Spates. That was a good team. That was a really good team.
Bonkers. All right.
They won back-to-back.
So freaking long ago.
It was.
That's crazy. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Todd Golden looking to be the youngest coach to win a national championship since Jimmy V.
Interesting.
Yeah.
1983.
37 years old, Jim
Wow.
Valvano. Yeah. That's crazy, right? All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Oh, look at this. Flags planted at the Alamo for Houston and Florida. That feels weird. You ever been through the Alamo?
I have.
Takes about 5 steps to walk through.
It's a short tour. It's cool. Had a chance to go do that when we were covering a playoff series down in San Antonio.
Yeah, look, I was telling my kids the other day, I go, isn't that wild that this is the same building that BYU played Colorado in? And they're like, what? And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Throw a basketball court in the middle of there and then have 45,000 people there to watch it. Why not? So Florida and Houston tonight firing off for the national championship game. I want Houston to win it. I've started to like Kelvin Sampson more.
I have a lot of respect for him in that program.
Don't know if I like Todd Golden as much.
They've done it the right way. Yeah. Florida has all the resources and the tools. Been in the SEC for a long time. They've done it before. Houston's been waiting a long time for this. Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, Dave Rose, Faislam Ajama. Those teams couldn't finish the job. It'd be pretty cool for Houston to do it tonight.
Sucks to be you. I'm just going to run quickly through a couple here. Sucks to be Dawn Staley's swear jar. Got hit hard with the quarters.
Working overtime. Sucks to be Dawn Staley.
Yeah, you lose a national
She's been knocked off her
championship.
perch.
Hey, honestly though, Gino Auriemma, 12-1 in national title games. Like, can't bet against that guy.
Isn't that insane? And most of those are blowout wins.
Yeah, including this last one.
Yep.
Sucks to be Duke fans. They showed the shot from inside Cameron Indoor.
Oh.
With like 12 seconds left.
Imagine some of them left early and thought they won.
Oh, I told you, my kid went to bed going, anyway, see you guys tomorrow when I'm in the lead in the family bracket.
Oh, he got
the next
cocky.
day, he got, oof.
Play to the final whistle.
Well, then he thought, and you have older brothers who are just there to absolutely harass you when that happens.
Oh.
Hey, you know what happened last night with Duke? Yeah, they won. No, they didn't. Go look it up, dude. Like, just clowning him. All right. By the way, you can join Jake and Ben on, that's tomorrow, 10 to noon. Peach Windows and Doors, 2940 South and 300 West in Salt Lake City. PeachBuildingProducts.com is the website. All right, we'll take the break. We'll come back. When we do return, we're going to have a conversation with Tim Lacombe. He is, of course, the coach. You hear him pre-half and post-game shows walking up to Jazz coverage. Let's talk to Coach Lacombe next and get an idea for the next handful of games here, the last of the season for this Utah Jazz team, and how you should expect going into the offseason as a Jazz fan. Stay here, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.